What's up, Legion? Welcome to I Still Call It a Lariat, a pro wrestling podcast. We are a phenomenal pro wrestling podcast. We are quickly growing, and my name is stevezapf. With me, as always, to talk about TNA and WWE news is my tag team partner, Mr. Showtime Michael Wright. How you doing today, Michael?
Oh, you know me, Steven. I'm living the dream.
I really hope so, man. A couple people need to be living a dream. Some of this wrestling stuff we got to talk about lately has been a little bit of a nightmare. So I could use some dreams.
There's some cool stuff in here.
There's some cool stuff.
It's not all doom and gloom.
It's not. It's actually not so much on our show. It's more on the other show that we do. Before we get into that stuff, though, let's talk about some of our nonprofit organizations. Obviously, Tap Cancer Out. It is a series of jiu-jitsu tournaments to help out with varying cancer reliefs, including but not limited to Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabel Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Descends, and of course, Tom Coughlin's J Fund. The other one that obviously we have been leaving a link in for has been the American Red Cross and their varying disaster relief funds. Please, as I said, guys, I say it every week and every show, and I will continue to say it, whether it's time, money, just whatever you can help out with some of these areas. They really do need everyone's help that can possibly manage anything at this point. And you have no idea probably how appreciative these people are and like how you've literally probably saved their world if you help out even just a little bit.
And you got another hurricane brewing, don't you? Is that what I saw on the news?
I think this is a baby cane.
Baby cane? You gotta be careful.
Baby cane.
I have a baby. They're destructive.
Or it's, I say baby cane and it's just gonna destroy Puerto Rico again, which I feel bad for them too. And the last one that we have been giving information on a lot has been Chris Bay's GoFundMe. That link is still in our description below as well. For anyone who does not know, in the wrestling world, Chris Bay, a very talented performer from TNA, was performing a springboard cutter, basically, landed badly and was rushed to the hospital and needed emergency neck surgery. Many people have helped out with this. There are many ways to help out with the Chris Bay one too as well. It's not just through his GoFundMe. I believe there's also links on there to buy some of his merch and his music. I know he has like he has rap interests and stuff like that. So he has been making his own songs. I think he actually does his own theme music and things like that. So there are several ways that you can help out on that one as far as giving financially for that. But we do hope for Chris Bay to have a speedy recovery. I know Ace Austin had gone in front of the crowds recently and said that he is out of critical. He is doing much better, and it looks like he will probably make a full recovery. But we hope the best for him. We are actual fans of Chris Bay. We love ABC. This is definitely not one of those situations that we ever want to see anyone in, but such a promising young star it's a little disappointing. It's a lot disappointing, actually. But with that, let's get into, I don't even know if this is better news, but Bruce Pritchard and Michael P.S. Hayes are reportedly taking a leave of absence from WWE. The report is that Pritchard is leaving for family reasons, some sort of family reason, and Michael P.S. Hayes is leaving for personal reasons. I realize those could both be the same thing, but usually, as I've heard it on a different podcast, usually if you say family reasons is family. Personal reasons usually involves you having to go to a center where they have to help you do stuff.
Sometimes I don't want to speculate that until there's real news in that direction. You never know what someone's going through. It doesn't necessarily
I will say this.
any other reasons.
I will say this. This is an actual fact now. Michael P.S. Hayes has been with the WWE since 1995. If you had told anybody in 1994 that Michael P.S. Hayes was going to hold a job with one single promotion for damn near 30 years, would anyone believe you?
Probably not. He did have his ponytail cut off once.
He did get the ponytail cut off. But this could also, a lot of people have been saying that this is a little bit of the changing out of the old guard too.
I've heard that. I've heard they're both coming back as well.
I've heard they're both coming back indefinitely, but I've also heard that their leave is indefinite. So it's
I don't believe anything right now until we get see real proof,
hard facts on it.
The one bit of news out of this that I did hear that I do believe though is that in Michael Hayes' stead, Bobby Roode has stepped up in a big way, and everyone around WWE is really impressed with his work. So that could be him kind of leaning up, which I'm pretty excited about. I was always a big fan of his, and him getting more opportunities in the backstage area could mean some cool things for him. That one I do buy. Everything else is all just speculation. I feel like.
I mean, I do love me some Bobby Roode, and if this is a bigger opportunity for him to step up and be involved more heavily in the show, I'm sorry, Legion, I have even dropped the ball on this one. I have a feeling I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Roode, kind of my favorite match during that NXT from the ECW arena, was the opening match. It was a no DQ match between Lola Vice and Jada Parker. And you know how much you and I love no DQ matches. I actually love this match. And it was one of those where they kept it real simple and all, like I kind of kept saying it as me and Hound were talking about it, was I need to find out who agented or produced this match, because everything they do, they did such cool little teases. Showtime, I know you're not big on catching up on the NXT stuff all the time, but like they did the table tease. Like one of them would pull it out and then one of them would put it back under the ring. And one of them would pull it out and one of them would put it back under the ring. It like they kept it pretty simple. Like they kept the violence simple too, which made it more violent. But with that said, let's get on to the one company in the world that we are the biggest champions of. That is Total Nonstop Action. I said it right this week.
Nailed it.
All right. That of course is TNA Impact. This was a very good card overall. This has my actual match of the week again.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. So the show opens up with a women's tag team match between Masha Slamovich and Jordan Grace versus Alicia Edwards and Tasha Steelz. This match was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but it was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, obviously I like Jordan and I like Masha. I'm surprised how much I like Tasha and I like Alicia teaming together. Mm-hmm. They had really good tag team chemistry with each other, and Alicia does really good heel work. Obviously, she's been, so in practice of it, but their tag team stuff, like some of their moves that they do, is really, really good. I like that they did obviously the babyface to counteract the chemistry of the tag team that's kind of supposed to be a real tag team. Masha and Jordan used their strength to like even out the playing field during the match. It was a nice playoff. This isn't, it's not the best match I've ever seen in my life, but by far this is not a bad match. It was fun to watch. It was really good. It was exciting, and the baby faces go over at the end just kind of like you thought they would.
Yeah, this was a solid match all in all. I think the one thing that had me scratch my head a little bit is Jordan Grace and Masha staying a team after the belt was dropped. I know this is just their way of trying to figure out ways to keep Jordan Grace in the limelight as she's essentially leaving. That's the way I see it, is because that's the only reason they would take the belt off her, because I think her contract is ending in about a month and a half.
I think so.
So just so they don't have to rip it away from her and still make her look strong, find ways to keep her on TV. This one's just a little strange. I would like to see her kind of just go around and have some pretty strong matches for the last couple of weeks of her contract. Maybe even put a couple of people over. Ash by Elegance is one that comes to mind, where I would love to see her kind of go over here and kind of make her look a little stronger. Make the women's division in general look a little stronger before Jordynne Grace goes out, without making Jordynne Grace turn into a jobber. I'm not looking for that. She should still have some strong wins, look good, figure out ways to like do both, but then have her do what you should do as you walk out of the federation, or whatever you want to call it, out of TNA.
I have heard that. I mean, I kind of go along with what you're saying. Is this is kind of her go away tour type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I will say this: I don't think, as much as I wouldn't mind her doing something for like Ash by Elegance, I think they're about to build Ash by Elegance and Heather into the tag team champions.
Sure. I just used it as an example. That was just
no. I know, and I think I could see her doing something with like Rosemary. Now that we'll talk about that match as well. So the next match is this Wendy Chu versus Rosemary no DQ match.
Back women's matches? What?
I don't even know what's going on here anymore.
More than one on a single show that didn't
without like 10 women in it.
Women? What?
I'll tell you, man. Whew. It's crazy.
TNA Trailblazers.
This match kind of brought their relationship full circle. I feel like I think when they started this, Wendy Chu and Rosemary kind of had a match, and then they started teaming, and then we've kind of gone this full circle. Rosemary ends up going over. I mean, it's a no DQ match, so it is clean no matter what. The match itself is okay. I'm a little tired of Wendy Chu in general. I don't like her gimmick. I think that's really where I'm at. It's not that I care about the scary goth gimmick. I'm tired of the PJs. I'm tired of the look of the gimmick, I think. And I'm tired of her carrying around this loaded pillow from bedtime and stuff like that. Like, I get it. You were trying something. This was part of the old gimmick. You're trying to bring it into this new gimmick. I'm over it. I'm glad that they are going their separate ways. Like, I think this is time. I felt like they were trying to be built up bigger than what this team really was. But like I said, as far as a no DQ match goes, it wasn't bad. It made sense. It just, it was time. It was time for this to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wendy Chu goes back to NXT. Like, she's in NXT.
She is still NXT. I mean, she's still contracted to NXT.
Yeah, this is just like them lending her here. This is probably the end of her in TNA.
Yeah.
And finishing that out, and then doing more of her mainstay at TNA at this point.
I could see some of this, because it looks this way now, that some of the NXT TNA partnership is starting to fade away a little bit. I think we're at the point now where we'll see some of it still, but where it was very frequent for like a few months, I don't think it's going to be as frequent anymore. Like, we still have this working relationship. We can still send somebody there and pull somebody here if it really makes sense. But I think it's going to be much. I think it's going to kind of not be as much right now.
Well, TNA got what they wanted. They got essentially WWE got what they wanted. They essentially took two of TNA's top stars and shuffled them over.
Possibly three.
Who's I had Joe Hendry, and I had
Jordan.
What's it called? Jordynne Grace, but who's the third?
Jonathan Gresham might be going with her.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that one yet.
A, they're married. And
sure.
B,
I mean, that doesn't mean anything really, though.
No, but his contract is also coming up the same time that hers is. So, I mean, I think Jonathan Gresham would be an awesome addition to NXT. I don't think he would do very well on WWE's main roster, but if he's okay with living in the NXT world, probably still make a decent living and put on amazing matches because he puts on amazing matches.
Sure.
We get a Steve Maclin backstage promo. I love Steve Maclin promos. I really do. I know I gush over Steve a bit because he's my buddy, but like at the same time, I gush over him because he's also really good. I like his in-ring work. I like his promos. Everything he does, I kind of buy. Like I believe what he's doing. It was, like I said, it was a really good promo. I love how serious and how authentic he comes off. This leads right into a Rascals backstage segment though as well, and it's literally just the entire segment. I didn't like it because it's just a stoner version of them singing a Miley Cyrus song. Like they're just high during it, and I'm like, I get it. This is kind of your deal, but like, you went from going on these awesome runs for the last couple weeks and months to now we're gonna put you back to being comedy. Like, I don't think they should be comedy. They could be the new high flying babyface team. Like, I mean, I know they're not a new team, but they could be this generation's rockers. They could be this generation's rock and roll express. Like all those teams that you associate with being like fast, high flyers, high speed offense, lots of double team moves. Like that's who the Rascals should be. And the best part of the show, Joe Hendry does a promo in which he debuts his new song for Ryan Nemeth.
It's so good.
Does everyone want to hear the song? His nickname is Brother. The end.
That's it.
That's it. He said he tried to find more, but there really wasn't much.
It's so funny. It's such a good dig. That's the one thing that Joe Hendry does so well is figuring out the right buttons to press. Like it's funny because he's so over and he's such a face, but man, is he such a turd. And there's got to be a moment where the fans turn on him, but right now they're just just loving it. They're just loving every minute of it, and I am one of them.
Yeah, fans are us.
Yeah,
by the way,
this one,
we are.
It's been so good. Like he caught me hook, line, and sinker with all the stuff he's been doing.
Oh man, this was amazing. Again, this is a really good one to. Everything Joe Hendry's doing right now is kind of hitting, as me and Hound have been saying. He's playing the right notes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so from there we get a match between Heather by Elegance versus Jody Threat from Spitfire. Again, this is them really starting to lean into Heather and Ash going after the tag team titles. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with Heather and Ash winning the tag team titles. It's not even that I don't like Spitfire. I just think that they would be a better face for that women's tag team division. I think Ash by Elegance is doing her best work. I think Heather is actually a better in-ring wrestler though. All around. Like you could tell like this was her first goal. She wanted to be a wrestler and she does the work involved with it. And I'm not saying that Ash by Elegance doesn't do the work. What I'm saying is it took her a little while to get to this point. Heather is a bit on the younger side. I could see her really, really turning out something great throughout her career. And this is a great start to it. Jody ends up going over after a bunch of shenanigans and confusion. But again, I like this feud. I like what they're doing. Again, guys, TNA makes sense. They don't insult our intelligence.
Third women's match of the night.
This is there's only been 3 matches.
There's only been 3 matches.
There's only been 3 matches, and all 3 of them have been women's matches.
Yeah.
By the way, they've also all been very good matches. Like it's not like these are bad matches. It just so happens that, and you could say, well, they're women's matches and they're leading into this, which makes this match look even bigger. I disagree with that. These matches were good matches, and then it leads to this match, which as good as those matches were, here it comes, guys. We get the match of the week. And that is Moose versus Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division title.
What a match.
What a match. This match is power versus speed, and it's a perfect showing of it. It's I was watching this match and I love how they're doing it. It's so easy to tell a story because you see how much bigger Moose is compared to like everybody in the world, but like specifically compared to Speedball Mike Bailey. Like Mike Bailey's probably like 5'9" and Moose is like 6'5". And he's just, you would see Bailey hit him with 4, 5, 6, 7 moves, and then Moose would just nail one move. And it's like, just bump him. Oh, man. But it was, you're muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Do you think that they're attempting to turn Moose face? I feel the beginning turn right now.
I could see it. I don't know if they're trying to turn him face or if the fans are just,
they're ready to cheer him.
They're ready to cheer him. Like, he's done so much that it's not a bad idea to cheer him. Like, it's like, well, he might still be a bad guy, but it's like Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you're a bad guy, that doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Sure, he's done a lot of bad things over the history. I really started noticing it at the last pay-per-view against Mike Santana. And like in that match, he felt like, I don't know, I felt like he was kind of shifting a little bit. He was still a heel in that match. Like, he brought help to the side, so like it wasn't like a rip of the Band-Aid. But there was just certain elements of that match and certain elements here where like it feels like they're doing a slow build to where the system and he get into it and he goes full on babyface and the crowd rejoices.
I could see the system turning on him here. Like, oh, your big contribution was that you brought the X Division title here, like, and almost like downplaying how cool it is that he just. Oh, by the way, guys, Moose wins the X Division title in this. Spoilers. He wins it with four.
Spoiler.
He wins it with 4 spears. It's amazing. Unnecessary. But one of the things they did, the thing they did in this match is both of these guys ended up working a body part. I love that. You and I both always love that, but both of them worked a body part, and they did it in very different ways, and it was different body parts. So, Bailey ended up ducking Moose's chop, and Moose chopped the ring post hard.
I love that spot.
He did it hard though. Like, we've seen it before, and because it's a real metal ring post, it sounded like a ring bell throughout the arena. And then he did it again. So he chopped that ring post twice, and then like Bailey was just like stomping his hand the whole time. As to where Moose, to try to counteract Bailey's speed, there was a point where Bailey goes to run at him, and Moose moves out of the way on the outside, and Bailey basically soccer kicks the ring steps. And they just work his knee and his ankle the entire match. I was like, this is awesome. This is great because it gives them both an out on how they're doing it. At the end of this match afterwards, Trent Seven comes out to console Mike Bailey for losing, and then double crosses him and starts choking him without mercy.
Surprise!
I'm the bad. I've been the bad guy all along. This isn't a surprise. This is very foreshadowed from last week. Trent Seven kind of playing almost like the Kevin Owens role in this one, like just feeling left out. Kind of built like Kevin Owens too, so there's that. But that was TNA. One last thing. Mike Bailey apparently is no longer a part of TNA. His contract expired November 1st. Obviously, this is probably the reason for him losing the X Division title. And then after losing the X Division title, the whole thing with Trent Seven beating him up, this might be them writing him off. I know Showtime. You had said you think he's going to AEW.
Yeah, rumor has it he's going over to AEW to be forgotten or whatever they do with people at Mike Bailey's caliber. It's I just don't see a world where he has a space there outside of some lower end cards being fodder for more
Fodder
more
for the
established
elite.
stars. Yeah, he's great too. Like I think it's a shame. I would love for him to be successful there. I'm rooting for him. I just don't know if I see it.
I don't see it. I mean, I kind of wish he would stay in TNA.
Yeah, this is
I
the perfect
mean,
spot for him.
it's the perfect spot for him. He does so well there. He puts on great matches. Like I said, this was our match of the week. This was so good. This might be the match of the month, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like that. Like, and we have some pay-per-views to go over before we say something like that. But like, this match was really good. But guys, that was TNA this week. So moving on, guys, we have WWE Friday Night SmackDown. This opened up with the OG Bloodline. They came out first. We get Jimmy and Roman coming out. Everybody in the world is throwing them ones up in this one, and then we get us two, and then we get Sammy and Jay coming out together to kind of clear the air for everything. Again,
It
can
wasn't
we
an
trust
accident.
Sami
Don't
Zayn?
listen to him, Roman. Don't listen to them.
Can we trust Sami Zayn?
No, answer's no. You mean Sammy Uso?
Sammy Uso.
Just digging deeper and deeper in.
I love the fact though that we get Sami Zayn cracking the bloodline again, just breaking the bloodline. Everybody smiling.
That was his full intention. He's like, that's all I want out of this promo.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. We got me and Jimmy doing the hand thing. We got Jay all mad at me. You're sitting in the back seat because you're cooler than everyone else and you're a rock star. See, look at you smiling. You're even smiling about it now. I'm like, yes, make this happen. We get, and during this thing though, Sammy says he'll come back so long as Roman apologizes. And not even apologize to him. He wants him to apologize to Jay. I actually kind of get this one. Realistically, if you are family and you're that tight, and it doesn't matter what it really is one of those situations where, as bad as anything is, if you're real family and you apologize at the end of it, you kind of should be okay with each other, right? Like that's
exactly.
I think that's what I almost think that's what Sammy is trying to portray here, even though
Sammy's just planting seeds so he can dip across everybody.
So that he can break up all the bloodlines.
Yeah. It's like, we are no longer family. I'm taking down the 837 person family tree.
Sammy's gonna be
from the roots.
Sammy's gonna be the tribal chief. He's gonna take the Ulafama.
He's gonna have the necklace. That's the way it works.
This is all to lead to that. Smart man, Sammy.
Sneaky and conniving.
Oh, he's good. At the end of this, we get Jacob Fatu on the Tron confronting them, once again showing that WWE has big plans for Jacob Fatu. He has been the mouthpiece and the hype man for Solo this whole time. I think the fact that they're willing to let him be the hype man like this is proof that they're willing to put a live mic in his hand at least, which can be scary at times. Remember
all the rumors that were circulating how they were afraid of Jacob Fatu coming in and overshadowing Solo? It happened. It's happening right now.
Yeah. Wait, those were rumors?
Well, that's the rumors were that they were holding Jacob Fatu from debuting because of that reason.
Well, and the problem is Jacob knows exactly who he is and exactly what his character is supposed to be. I feel like even Solo now is still trying to figure out who he is.
I think Solo might be listening to the wrong person in the background, because he's definitely getting some sort of tips here and there as he tries new things, and they are not landing.
They're not. But we'll get more into that towards the end of the show, or towards the end of SmackDown. Next thing we have is a match between Bayley and Candice LeRae. Showtime, you'd asked me before the show if it was weird not seeing her with Indy. It was a little weird. My question is, do you think that they're going to keep kind of giving Candice a push now that we're going?
They had her drop into Bayley here. And Bayley is a hard person to put down, but I don't know, because they didn't know what to do with her with Indy Hartwell around. I still don't think they know what to do with her now. This is the one women's match on the card of the night.
No, there's two.
Oh no, you're right. There is two.
Dos.
I just don't know what they're building her towards, what that push is. I think she's going to be that person that continuously floats around and loses to, like Bayley and Nia and Tiffany and all the other ones. That's what she's here for.
So, she, not to discount you, because the only thing that I have written here for her is that she hits this awesome neck breaker on the middle rope, which I've taken one of those and they hurt. But on the other side of this, and we've been saying this for a while, just not this far along, it feels like WWE's kind of fallen out of love with Bayley completely. Like, but not even just that they're not putting her on the posters and they're not promoting her enough. Now it's like she's just there,
just demoting her down the card.
Yeah, like so Sammy says it in the opening segment, like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. I feel like they're indifferent towards her.
And that was a direct shot at Bayley from Sammy, because he's even there. He's even trying to take shots at Bayley.
He is. He was
scoundrel.
Oh man. I don't know what they can do with Bayley. Like you said, she picks up the win here, but does it really matter? Like, I kind of don't care what they're doing with Bayley, and I want to care what they're doing with Bayley because she's too good to. I feel like she needs to be a heel again, a real heel, or they need to like make her so babyface that it's almost sickening. Like she needs to be like.
To give her. Let's just start with clear direction.
Yeah,
because there's none of that.
Well, she either needs to actually be a heel, like she needs to like live up to this role model thing that turned her into a heel originally, or I hate to say it, but she needs to go so far in the other direction that she's like a Cody babyface, like almost like vanilla.
And they could have gone that way with her. Like they had that opportunity, particularly when they started with Sebastian Berlin, where they were going nuts and they were singing her song the whole time.
Yeah.
Perfect time to go that, just full rev into that.
Let's see. What do we get next? After this, there's a little backstage segment with Johnny Gargano basically, tickling the backside of Alex Shelley like he's been doing, and Ciampa's getting mad about it. This is another one of those times. I don't know if I disagree with Ciampa.
Yep.
Like, stop giving, like, I get it, you're friends, but stop being so friendly. Stop giving them all of this respect.
It's too much.
It's too much. Like, how are we going to compete against them if you just keep, telling them how great they are? So, and also this is leading a little bit to Tommaso kind of going back to being the old Tommaso Ciampa, which I'm kind of for that. Like, I like DIY together, but I love Tommaso Ciampa by himself.
Mm-hmm.
The next segment is the Viper, Randy Orton, calling out Kevin Owens. And Owens coming out, and obviously they get into a fight. They throw everyone in the history of the world around, like they do.
Like you do.
And then Orton gets hit with a pile driver and
sells it.
Sells the hell out of it. The other thing is the commentators, Michael Cole specifically, says it. There's a reason why that move was banned. Now, no one has ever said on camera that the move was banned. So realistically, by him saying it, it makes it almost more realistic. Like, hey, like, this move was banned behind closed doors, behind what the fans are allowed to know.
Mm-hmm.
We're telling you now that this move is banned behind closed doors. And like, it kind of like, it's pulling back the curtain without actually pulling back the curtain. And I think it makes it a bigger deal. I think it makes the move a bigger deal. I think the way Orton sells it makes it a bigger deal.
The sell job that he does for this move is absolutely fantastic. We were talking before the show on the difference between this and some of the ridiculous stuff they do in some other promotions where you'll see people dropped on their necks 100 times. I remember us really going off on it when I think it was the Young Bucks versus FTR where they did, or was it the Blackpool Combat Club?
It was Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah,
They
did the
spike
double pile driver,
and then he stood back up. Or no, what was the other one? The Orange Cassidy one where
on the ring steps?
When the ring steps, and he got the thing under the ropes, and then he was able to fight up right afterwards.
That ruins the rules, like the rules of the game. If you get dropped on your head like that, you're in traction. Like even like and Randy did it right. You can recover relatively quickly from a stinger. Like stingers happen all the time in the NFL. Maybe not as much as they used to, but I remember in the NFL as we were growing up, you were getting stingers all the time.
Oh yeah,
and like it was just kind of like the whole like right side of your body goes numb. But you were out there the next week. That is believable. On the ring steps, that person's out for a couple months.
Well, and also this is also a guy who's got rods in his back. All of this, again, like you said, all of this becomes believable.
Yep, and this helps Kevin build this savagery that he's looking to build. Like I don't even want to call him a heel because he's not wrong, but he is going vicious here.
Well, and then and now it also keeps Orton out, so now there's no one to stop Kevin from going after Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything Kevin Owens is doing. I love what Randy Orton did in this. Mm-hmm. This was probably the best segment of the whole card of the whole show. Even though it was the shortest.
Back in his Ring of Honor days, or I think it was his indie days, Kevin Owens used to do like a cradle pile driver, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did the cradle pile driver.
I hope he brings it back. I hope that's what this is alluding to.
I could see them letting him do it like once. Like, hey, like I'm going to do this one. Even I could see him hitting it on Cody, not in a match, like before the match, and then they tease it the entire time for the match. And like, hey, I'm going to hit it. Hey, I'm going to hit it. Hey, I'm going to hit it. And then 42 Crossroads later, Cody's still champ.
Cradle pile driver is such a cool looking move. I was always a big fan of that.
So we get the tag team champions, the women's tag team champions at least.
Oh, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but
that's right. Sorry,
you skipped a nothing match.
I did skip a nothing match. We get DIY.
We can keep going if you want.
So DIY versus Pretty Deadly. It's a squash match. The only thing it does is build DIY. Oh, it's because I didn't have any actual notes for this. What I have written on the show doc is the only note for it. Tommaso Ciampa never tags out and beats Pretty Deadly by himself.
Pretty Deadly, I've talked about it last time, are absolutely worthless, and I have no time for them.
They're pretty worthless. They're no longer deadly.
Yeah, they're deadly. They're dead right now.
Yeah, they're dead. The only thing they're deadly to is ratings.
They're pretty dead.
Yes, they're pretty dead. And if they're deadly to anything, it is to Nielsen ratings.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to what I was saying. I digress. Bianca and Jade versus Tiffy and Nia. So this seems like a match between two teams that everyone would rather see feuding with each other.
Yes. Like, can we switch this up? Bianca and Tiffy versus Nia and Jade. Wow.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm a little tired of coward Tiffany. It's getting confusing because sometimes she is and sometimes she isn't.
Worst. I wish she never won the Money in the Bank. It was the worst thing that could happen to her. It's the worst thing that can happen to anybody, because once you win it, I feel like no one ever gets the real rub that they deserve to get.
Not anymore, at least.
It just feels like the kiss of death. And like even Damien, like they gave him so much crap for not cashing it in earlier than he did. I get cashing it in at Mania, like that's cool, but they gave him so much crap for doing that, and then he stopped being a single star.
Yeah,
he became a great tag team champion, but at the same time,
he was still Mr. Money in the Bank.
But he is Senior Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean he still had it. Like I said, the match in general is a little confusing. There's a point where they do a double down and to get Bianca and Jade the hot tag, and Nia literally lands in her own corner. Like, there's no reason why she can't get to Tiffany. There's no reason why Tiffany can't tag in before whoever's making the hot tag can make the hot tag. I have it here. I wish this match was just Tiffany versus Bianca by themselves.
Sure, that'd been great.
They kind of did the workload for the match in general, which I'm not surprised.
Not surprised at all.
You get the tag team champs winning this match after a ton of interference and a messy end.
Wasn't Liv, and because Liv comes down.
I believe Liv comes down. I believe Raquel comes down. I believe Damage Control comes down. I believe, or actually no. Does Piper and Chelsea come down again? I forget. There's a lot of messiness in this.
I understand what's happening here, right? We're building the Survivor Series women's match.
Oh, that's right. Io comes down to help the babyface.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what? Like all of it is muddled. This is the AEW edition of SmackDown. Nia and Tiffy were just feuding with Raquel and Liv, and now they're on the same team. Io was just feuding with Bianca and Jade. Now they're looking on the same team. And honestly, I'm sorry.
Nia and Tiffany feuding with Liv and Raquel is not canon anymore.
It's still canon. There's only one wrestler that's allowed to do this stuff, and Swerve. Because
it's in his name.
It's his name. Like, he owns it. I get it. He named himself off it. I'm good with that. This is just slapped together. This is the epitome of what the women's division has turned into.
It like you said, slap together. It's slapdash. It's
and,
let's just do
confusing.
this. Let's just do this. It's fine.
It's cool. No one's paying attention.
We go,
and I'm sorry if I'm confusing what happened on SmackDown and Raw, because it kind of blended together.
It's all the same thing at this point, realistically, right? Let's see. We go from the women's tag team champions to the men's tag team champions, neither one of which are being defended on this show. But we get the Motor City Machine Guns versus A-Town Down Under. I think I wanted this match to be better than it was.
Sure.
I think I expected this match to be better than it was. A-Town Down Under is almost primarily a comedy act now, and like they're not even teasing the idea of them breaking up anymore.
I told you, this is the AEW edition of WWE. Let's just forget storylines. No one was paying attention.
No, and so here's the other thing is you can tell like this match maybe didn't have the time that it was given, because these four guys, I really think they could have put together a good match. The problem is everything involved in the match seems a little. It seems like they're off of a step. It seems like their chemistry is just off. It's just there's something not working here, and it's not just that A-Town Down Under is no longer a credible threat. It's that this could have been a match where even with A-Town Down Under losing, if they had gone out and had a really good showing, and they put out a great match, this makes them credible again. And it just didn't feel that way. It felt like they were doing all of this just so that they could get the Motor City Machine Guns back into the backstage area, so that the Street Profits could tell them that they're facing them next week for the tag team titles.
Sounds right.
Which also pissed off Ciampa. The only other note I have in here, and it's sad because I don't think at either promotion we would see this match done right, is God, I wish I could see the Motor City Machine Guns versus FTR. I would love that match.
That would
could
be
you imagine
fun.
if we got FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns in TNA? And they just let them go for like 25 minutes?
Just one match. That's all you need.
Yeah. That's the type. I really believe that that's the type of tag team championship match that could main event a pay-per-view.
Yeah, makes sense.
So big news coming out of SmackDown. We are getting a Women's United States title. How are you feeling about this one, Showtime?
So, in theory, I absolutely love it.
I know you've said that you kind of wanted a women's mid-card title.
Yeah, I think they deserve it. I think that there's a lot of talent that if they're given the chance to showcase what they could do, this is great. This is perfect for Chelsea Green.
I knew it, because I was going to say the same thing.
It just fits perfectly for her. There's other people that this fits perfectly for as well, but you could then start building a storylines around this belt and have some of these other people kind of jump off that aspect of things. Maybe we'll get more than one, maybe two women's matches in a multiple hour SmackDown or Raw. I'm curious if this will go back and forth between the two shows, similar to tag team titles.
I've heard it is SmackDown specific. The title stays on SmackDown at least.
I've also heard that they're going to do a women's intercontinental title.
I've heard that, which I don't know if I want another women's mid-card title. I understand that NXT has a women's mid-card title. I understand that this would be a SmackDown women's mid-card title. I would almost rather they did a women's US title open challenge match every week, and maybe someone from Raw comes, and yes, the title stays on SmackDown. If you are a Raw competitor and you win the women's the US title, you are now a SmackDown competitor. Kind of like Cody winning the title for the Undisputed title. It's a SmackDown title. I think I'd rather that.
I would like to see some kind of. I would like to see some sort of tournament. I like a good tournament on that front, but just do something that's entertaining for them. Otherwise, you're just wasting everybody's time with this title.
It's just another nice belt.
Just another nice belt. Just because AEW has 11 billion, we might as well add a couple more.
we still haven't hit as many belts as AEW has.
Nope.
Let's see. We end the show with the Solo Sikoa acknowledgement ceremony. So Roman comes out, says he won't acknowledge him. He says the fans don't acknowledge him. Says, let's fight. Winner is the only tribal chief. Solo says something snarky. I hate funny Solo.
Yep.
This is where we were talking about before. I don't think that Solo should be doing funny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away, and it just all this does is elevate Jacob Fatu. Like, it makes Jacob look more
He's coming up
serious.
as this serious threat. He's the one that is scarier. He's the real muscle. All the things that Solo used to be.
Yep. He's everything Solo used to be. And the difference is he's better on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Solo says that Sammy is going to be his 5th in War Games. It looks like Sammy's not going to go out and help Roman. The Usos come out, and as they're about to hit Roman with the spike, Sammy comes down and hits a haluva kick on Solo. Roman and Sammy then team up and take out Jacob. And OG Bloodline throw them ones up. And that is how we close out SmackDown. I'm not going to lie. I don't care if it's predictable. This ending gave me some chills. I had some goosebumps seeing them do it. Seeing the OG Bloodline together. But with that, let's move on.
It was a great way to end this. It was a great way to lead into Survivor Series. It's a great way to kind of wrap this all up, get these guys together, and start cutting some really fun promos, similar to what they did today. But we can get some really good stuff in the background, in the backstage area. We can get a lot of things that will allow them to kind of expand upon how all of them have grown over the last couple months without being with each other. It's funny to think that they were all on the same team like a year ago.
Yeah.
I feel like it seems like we've come so far, but we really haven't. Like, Jey Uso was part of the Bloodline like 6 months ago.
Who do you think? Now, here's the question: is who do you think the 5th is going to be? Who do you think the 5th is going to be for both teams?
I can't answer that because I think I know already because of spoilers, and I'd rather not talk about that here.
Oh, fair.
Because I know what happens on not the Raw that you're about to cover, because I do know what happens on that one, but the next one that's pre-taped, I saw spoilers, so. and I don't like spoilers on the show, so that's why I don't really want to bring that up. There's no need to ruin that yet. We'll ruin that next time around.
So let's get on to Raw. That the actual episode of Raw from this past week. Then, not the pre-tape.
You won't do it.
Monday Night Raw, and it opens with Gunther coming out to the ring. He's gonna address Damian Priest, and Priest comes out as soon as Gunther says his name and cuts off everything he's going to say. And then my good buddy, the former El Campeon, the former Senor Money in the Bank, cuts a very Eminem 8 Mile style promo on Gunther.
I can hear the music now.
Yeah. Like it's literally like, I get it, I'm street trash, my family didn't love me, blah, 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 blah. All right, so now tell them something that they don't know. He literally just rattles it off. I will say this. This is one of this is probably the best promo I've heard Priest give in a while, though. I really like this promo. I think him and Gunther are excellent like folds against each other.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gunther's facial expressions during this, looking less confident. He looks hesitant to do everything.
Which, you know, I get why you like that, and I get for certain reasons why they might do it, but at the same time, I like Gunther as that unstoppable force. Sure, he lost to Cody in a close match, but like, it shouldn't shake him to his core.
I feel like this is going to be one of those, they're going to have the match of Survivor Series, and he's going to win this clean and be like, this is the only match that I won that I didn't win cleanly. and now you got put down. And then
Yeah.
he comes back around and he's Gunther again. Like, we're only going to see this for him for 2 more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the dissension between Kaiser and Gunther too. I feel like Kaiser might have to get away from Gunther a little bit to get a piece of anything. I'd like to see them do something with him. He is a talented guy. So that goes into Damage Control versus the Pure Fusion Collective. My notes for this are: why are we having this match?
I have no interest.
None whatsoever. Here's the thing: Io Sky is the number 1 contender, right? Like, we've established that she's the number 1 contender, and Pure Fusion Collection
bridging German on the a nasty bridging German on the side on the outside.
And the PFC hasn't been on TV for weeks, possibly months at this point. Like,
I don't think it's been that long, but yeah.
It's been weeks. When was the last time we reported on PFC?
Oh, I'm not sure because that name is so dumb.
See, they haven't done anything in ever. This, like, I get the idea that this is to bring Dakota back and to get this win over them after they took out Dakota Kai.
Get the win.
But realistically,
yep,
Io should be out there beating credible single stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she should be taking out the, you know, for lack of a better person, a Zelina Vega or someone like that, like someone that she can have a match with and just tally up some wins before she gets into. Honestly, she should go out there and beat the dog crap out of Raquel. Before Survivor Series, Io should get a win over Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, I can support that.
Yeah. And so we get Sammy and the Usos talking about who their fifth should be. To give you a little bit of a spoiler, Sammy goes and talks to Seth Rollins, and Jimmy goes to talk to Braun Breaker. This is a weird combination. Nobody likes anybody in this version.
Yeah, right?
Like, nobody's liking anybody. We get Kofi Kingston versus Pete Dunne. Don't call Butch Pete. He doesn't like it. I
don't do it.
This Pete's being really vicious in this match. I do like it. It had a really good pace. I want them to either do something with Pete Dunne or just send him back to NXT at this point. Like, I hate to say it. I'm a big believer that the New Day are going to blow up at their 10-year anniversary.
Such a waste. I don't think they need to break up. I like the New Day together.
I mean, I get it. We get the Judgment Day backstage segment next, which basically has Finn and Dom in each other's face and sets up Dom versus Carlito versus the War Raiders. Finn says, well, it'd be better if you could have brought home the world title. And Dom says, well, I beat Damian Priest. That's something you haven't been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Getting cut deep.
I think this is the beginning of Finn starting to exit his way from the Judgment Day. I don't think he needs them anymore. This thing is kind of falling apart at the seams. I think you'll still see something with Finn and Priest down the road, but I don't think the rest of the Judgment Day is going to be included anymore.
I agree.
We're looking at the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I think they could have brought it back around and they just didn't.
They could have. They had the opportunity.
You get next thing we get
Dom the belt.
A belt. Any belt. The women's
belt. Sure, I'll take that. He's the first ever U.S. champion.
He's the first ever women's
U.S. champion.
Yes, I'm in. It looks so good around his waist.
They look so good.
We get the Bronson Reed in-ring promo. I mean, I knew this was going to turn into a brawl, but I actually like what Bronson Reed says here. You know, how he talks about how it's not over with them two, that Seth was a better competitor, but he's not a competitor. He's a monster. I like what Bronson Reed is selling us here. But again, it turns into yeah, I'm buying what he's saying and what he's selling. I'm picking up what he's putting down. I mean, he is a monster. He's a wrecking ball. He took out Braun Strowman again. Or Braun Strowman's
He's a
body.
machine, Rock.
Or Braun Strowman's body being held together by duct tape and beeswax. You know, took him out. It's one or the other. We get Damian Priest versus Ludwig Kaiser. I like Kaiser getting mean. I like that he's not working with Sheamus again here. Priest hits my finisher again. Jerk. And then
he does that.
Yeah, I hate it. And then he wins clean, not with my finisher, with actual South of Heaven. And we get Gunther and Priest eyeing each other up from the ring in the entranceway. I think honestly, I'm really excited about this match because I think we're going to get a really good match between Priest and Gunther. I think the match that Priest and Gunther had at SummerSlam was the best either one of them have looked up until that point. And I think we get an even better version this time.
I agree.
We get to go along with Jimmy going to talk to Braun Breaker. Breaker and Sheamus have this little thing which sets up Braun Breaker versus Sheamus next week for the Intercontinental title. We're just going to keep dancing Sheamus around the IC title, aren't we? We're just going to be like, hey, this is...
That sounds about right.
What's that? Like he's just going to keep...
Right. They're not going to push him higher.
Well, no, but I mean, like, they're going to keep dancing around this idea that he's eventually going to win it, and he never wins it.
He'll win it eventually.
And then he's going to retire?
Yeah, maybe the same thing.
Because it's the only title he hasn't had. We get this Final Testament Wyatt 6 thing, where Karrion Kross is refusing to move on from what they did, calls out the Wyatt 6. The Miz ends up being the Miz and lying to everybody and saying that he's over it and it's done, and then he nails Rowan with a chair, and then the rest of the Final Testament just beats the crap out of the entirety of the Wyatt 6. I said this before we went on the air. I'm over the Wyatts. I you know, it was cool when they came back, and now they're there. They're just there.
They just didn't do anything, and they just booked them against mid-carders and made those mid-carders look worse without actually elevating the Wyatt 6.
Yeah, exactly. They could have done so much with them. They could have been a dominant heel faction. They could have done a lot of things with them, and they just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We get Seth and Solo Sikoa talking to each other in the parking lot. Solo saying like, "Hey, you know, why don't you come be part of our team instead?" And Seth basically says, you know, his exact words were, "If I'm not going to help the real Roman Reigns, I'm not going to help a wannabe Roman Reigns." Essentially saying he's not going to be a part of either team.
I'm never going to help Roman, and that means I'm never going to help his invitation.
So we get some more of that storyline being told, and then we've got Liv and Raquel versus Bianca and Jade for the women's tag team titles.
Because why not?
Why not? they try to sell this a little bit like Bianca and Jade aren't totally on the same page. There's a lot of shenanigans with this. It's weird. There's a lot of shenanigans with this match, but there's not a screw job ending. This is another time when it would have been a great spot for Tiffany to cash in if they weren't just setting up a random Survivor Series match. And it's just confusing because most of these people are not friends. They do not get along. They don't even have, like, it's not even like they're not friends that don't get along, that have a common goal. Their common goal is to hate each other.
A little more hate in the world never hurt anybody.
A little more hate in the world never hurt anybody. Actually, it hurt a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Wait, that's the opposite. A little bit of hate hurts a lot of everybody in the world.
Everybody. But so that was Raw. That was SmackDown. That was TNA.
It was one of the better SmackDowns of recent history. Like, things happened. It was entertaining.
Things happened on SmackDown. TNA was good. Raw was medium at best.
Yeah.
But guys, as always, Legion, if you agree with what we're saying, if you don't agree with what we're saying, let us know. Hit the comments.
Yes.
Catch us on social media. If you're listening to us, please like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. Share. Tell your friends about it. Even if you've already told them, be like, hey, you like wrestling? Go watch I Still Call the Lariat. Oh, you don't like wrestling? Go watch I Still Call the Lariat anyway. Maybe you'll start liking wrestling.
That's how it works.
That's how that works. Showtime, thank you for joining us. I know, as always, both of us have been kind of super busy, and we're just running the gauntlet right now, but
trying to get everything up when we can.
We promise to keep this show going. This is episode 47 for us as far as our weekly review episodes. Guys, next week we will have a review for AEW Full Gear. And then the week after, we will have the review for Full Gear and also the preview for Survivor Series. So please stick with us. We've been having a lot of fun.
A lot of content coming.
A lot of content. Showtime, you got anything else you want to say to the Legion?
Nope, we just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in with us again this week. We promise we'll get you guys some more information next week. We have Steve and Hound will come to you guys, record those on Sundays, and hopefully we'll be back on our normal Tuesday schedule next week.
And as always, people, tuck your chin when you bump.